Hello, everyone. It's been a little while since I made a Klance video. I know I used to do I deleted most of them, and I know I posted one months ago of a Klance one, and it was me reading comics, and I can't find it anymore. So I'm gonna read Klance one-shots, but I will be skipping one of them because one of them is, let's just show you guys, it's the third one. I might be skipping that one because, as you can tell. So, yeah. Now, let's get to reading. The first one's called Swimming. Okay. This is a lot of words, so give me, if I mess up, I'm sorry. Third person point of view. The brunette was breathing hard, pushing himself forward with every stroke against the water, taking in short breaths after time. His mouth made contact with the air outside the water. He was pacing himself, focusing on setting a new record for himself. So focused, he didn't notice someone else had joined him in the pool room. The stranger leaned over the edge of the pool, watching the brunette with excitement and interest. As the brunette slowed to meet the stranger, he looked up, rubbing the water out of his eyes with a smile. I see someone got the guts to meet up with the best swimmer on the team, he chuckled softly. Brushing his fingers through his wet hair, the stranger just laughed softly, pulling his hair back into a high ponytail. You only wish you were the best swimmer, which reminds me, how much longer are you going to be here? He questioned, looking up at the large clock that hung over the pool. Aw, missing me already? The brunette chuckled, pulling himself up a bit out of the pool. Not a chance, Lance. You're just spending too much time in the water. I'm afraid some chick might come by and snatch you away from me. He smiled, leaning a bit closer to Lance, staring into his eyes. He enjoyed the look in Lance's eyes. He always... Oh, I already messed up. Always full of joy and happiness. He didn't realize... He didn't resize? Okay. How long he had been staring until he felt the soft press of lips against his own. A rosy red blush crept its way across the male's cheeks as he closed his eyes, kissing back slowly. Lance ran his fingers across the man's neck. Hold up. I didn't pre-read these. Hopefully it does not lead to anything else. Where was I? A rosy red blush crept its way across the male's cheeks as he closed his eyes, kissing back slowly. Lance ran his fingers across the man's neck, sending shivers down his spine. The way the two's lips moved, it was as if they were meant to be together. They were lost in their own world. The man's hand cupping Lance's cheek while Lance held himself on the side of the pool. Their own little world was perfect. That was until the sound of a camera could be heard. The two quickly turned their attention to the sound and blushed. across their faces heated up to 100 degrees. My, I always knew you two were close, but I would never imagine you guys would be this close. A small female giggled, swaying a camera in her hands. Pidge, the man stuttered, looking over at Lance, who had a small smile across his face. What, Keith? Can't stand the fact you got caught? She giggled again, sticking her tongue out. Sticking her tongue at Keith? He quickly turned his head in embarrassment, covering his mouth slightly with the back of his hand. Hey, no need to be embarrassed. Lance is the one who asked me to snap a photo of you two. She smiled, placing the camera on the table, and skipped out of the room. You asked her to take a photo of us? Keith asked, glaring over at Lance, who was rubbing the back of his head. Yeah, maybe I can't help it. You just look so cute, and so I had to capture the moment, he smiled, but Keith wasn't having it. He put on a smile and poked the center of Lance's head. My watch went off. Anyway. Where was I? Poked the center of Lance's head, slowly pushing him back until he lost balance of himself and pushed Lance back into the pool. That ended up with Keith trying to cover the fact that he was laughing. Lance, on the other hand, was spitting out water. Hey, what was that for? He asked, crossing his hands. Keith, who was at the moment trying to calm his laughing, finally took a deep breath. It's because of the stupid photo, you dork. You dork. Anyway. He smiled, looking down at Lance. With that, Lance took the opportunity to pull Keith into the pool and wrapped his arms around Keith's waist with a I got distracted by the bottom of it. Where was I? And wrapped his arms around Keith's waist with a gasp. Keith was now soaking wet, wrapped in Lance's arms, and the blush on his face only grew hotter. How about another kiss? Lance asked, smirking slightly, gently brushing his lips across Keith's. Well, if you insist, he smiled, pulling Lance closer, stealing the kiss. They stayed like that for a while. It was a dream. And they got sick. The end. Okay, I'm gonna go try to find a Klance comic to read, so I'm not reading paragraphs like that. No offense to the person that read it. This was a very good story. But I like comics. So, or maybe I'll make another texting story. I haven't made one of those in a while. So, but I know for one thing's for sure, I miss the comics. So whenever I get a chance, I will try to make comic videos. And I know that there is a person who makes a comic thing on YouTube, not YouTube, Instagram, and I want to try to find it because it's a Klance comic thing and it's an Omegaverse one, and I really want to, and I'm thinking about making a YouTube channel specifically for these videos of reading comics and stuff like this. So yeah, If I do, I'll link it. Bye bye.